All right. Again, thank you for coming, everybody. I appreciate your time. My name is Mark Evelines. I'm part of the sales team here at OpsLogix. We expect this webcast to be about 35-40 minutes, with the Q&A being after this. You can only type into the Q&A, and we'll try and address these questions as quickly as possible. Alternatively, to repeat what was said on the invitation, if you would prefer to take any questions or discussions to a private meeting, please just write into our sales box and we will schedule this for you. Okay, I'm going to give a brief introduction to the topics we will show here today. Michel Kamp, who is one of our lead product developers and head of our technical support, will showcase our latest VMware MP updates. And Vincent and Jonas, who are our directors, will be introducing and presenting our Microsoft Teams connector for Operations Manager. This is something we're all very excited about here at OpsLogix. So the pandemic has caused economic disruption all over the world, with tourism, recreation, and the service industry being hit the hardest. This hasn't been the case for many IT or integration companies, who are often not only familiar with remote work platforms such as Skype, Zoom, and of course Microsoft Teams, but who are also already using these platforms on a daily basis. Now, OpsLogix continued to thrive during the pandemic. Our company culture and methodology allowed us to stay the course and determine our own direction, as opposed to being forced into any sort of reactionary position due to the circumstances that were and are at play in the world at large. Now, as reinforcement to this, we're very happy to be able to share our Teams Connector preview with you. As the saying goes, the best way to predict your future is to create it. So, on to the VMware MP and its business benefits. Now, over the course of the past years, we have released several VMware MP software updates. Now, most of these updates are based on software assurance and feature updates, depending on SCOM update rollouts and, of course, VMware version 7 that came out earlier this year in March. However, several of our updates were brought about through customer feedback. That's the case with the latest set of updates, and it's something we're very proud of. We're happy to share with you which real-world business scenarios the latest OpsLogix VMware Management Pack updates address in a very direct manner. So we'll be showing you 3 VMware updates. These are tag labels for ESX Hosts and VMs, RAM disk storage monitoring, and capacity monitoring for CPU and disk usage. Now, tag labels lead to much faster pinpoint resolution of front-end to back-end troubleshooting issues, which is vital for any company that provides customer portals or web shop product pages and/or services. And this also applies to an intranet. It means that troubleshooting teams can be made immediately aware of which host or VM affects which front-end application or form. RAM disk storage monitoring directly facilitates standardized protocol for data administration when updating, installing, and writing away drivers and log records, rather than this being what it is often today, namely a very ad hoc process. And lastly, capacity monitoring. It's intrinsic in service management and is always relevant to any IT network or environment. It's also an old reoccurring theme in IT. With the latest VMware MP update, we tackle the issue of CPU, RAM, and disk usage in VMware clusters. Okay, so Michel will now run you through how this looks on the technical SCOM side. And after this, Jonas and Vincent will conclude this webcast with a preview of our new Teams connector for Operations Manager.
Okay, thank you, Mark. And thanks everybody for watching this live event. I will do a short walkthrough of some of the scenarios where the OpsLogix VMware Management Pack comes to play. So during the demos, please use the Q&A and for any questions, and we will try to answer them during the event or afterwards. So the first demo will be about tagging. In many organizations, there are a lot of applications running distributed over many machines. So to keep track of what applications are running, you can use the built-in VMware tagging service. By labeling ESX hosts or virtual machines with the corresponding application name, you can identify the application groups. So this resulting in when a VM is responding an issue, you could create an alert.
Michel, your screen, I think that you haven't shared your
No,
your
it's fine, Mark, it's fine.
Okay.
So By labeling ESX hosts or virtual machines with the corresponding application name, you can identify the application groups. Resulting, when a VM is reporting an issue, you could create an alert that includes the discovered application tag name, or you can also make usage of tags by creating dynamic groups based on the discovered VMware tag. For example, you create a silver, gold, or platinum group, so you know how to prioritize the alert when a host or virtual machine is a member of one of these groups. So let me give you a short demonstration of this part. So let me first log in to the vCenter. And let's go to the tagging page. So you go to the menu and we go to tags and custom attributes. In this page, you can define your categories and your tag labels. So in this case, we have a service plan group, an application group, and owner group. So for the service plan, we have 3 tags called Platinum and not supported. And for example, we have 2 owners here. So how can we assign the tags to the VMware virtual machines or hosts? So this is simple. We just open the data center, we go to the cluster, and we just pick, for example, this virtual machine. And we can assign the tags in this way. So this one is tagged with the not supported service plan. So, and you can also assign yourself different tags. You can assign multiple tags to the same machine. That's configurable. So after we have set up these tags within VMware, our management pack will discover the tags and will assign them to the correct VMs or hosts. So let me show that also. So let's go to the SCOM machine. We go to the OpsLogic management pack. And for example, we open the virtual machines. And we will see the virtual machines discovered and the tags will be here. So for better viewing, I put the tag property on the view. So you will see application server A has a service plan not supported, and the front end server, for example, has different tags, different owner, and the backend server is only Jesse, for example. So if now an alert is generated, you can attach the tag label to your alert, for example. But a better scenario for this is by creating dynamic groups. So if we create a dynamic group based on the tag label, then we can also apply overrides to different monitor based on a member of that group. So let me show that. So we go to authoring. I already created some groups here. And for example, we go to the non-supported plan, and we just go to the dynamic groups in this case. And here you see, we just use the tag property that's on all the virtual machines and all the discovered hosts. And we just match it using a regular expression by this one. So the not supported tags. So all the VMs that have the not supported tags will be member in this group. So in this case, I expect to have 1 application server in this one. You will see the tag is not supported. So what makes this so powerful? So by assigning an override based on this members of this group, for example, we pick any monitor here, the tool status, and we create, for example, a disable override, if it works with me, to this specific not supported group. In this case, we can disable this monitor, but the SCOM administrator doesn't have to do anything for this. He just assigns this override based on the group, and the VMware administrators can now control how this machine is monitored. You know, if the monitors are disabled, or even, you know, increase or decrease intervals, for example, just by assigning the correct VMware tag. So that's makes it very powerful. So if you see application server A is healthy because it was part of the non-supported group, and I just disabled that monitor since it is a member of that correct group. So this will end my first demo. So let me move over to the second demo. and that will be about the RAM disk monitoring. So sometimes an ESX host becomes unstable or even crashes. We've seen several reasons for these situations to happen, but generally it's caused by a full RAM disk file system. So poorly written sim agents or drivers for vendors with debug level info that has no way to reduce debug levels cause to film RAM disk and also cause other applications to fail or even to start. So getting notified by vCenter is not that easy. The vCenter alerting mechanism doesn't have a warning state for RAM disks free space, for example. And so you will get notified only when it is already too late and your host probably is unresponsive. So in our Obslogic VMware Management Pack, we resolve this by implementing a RAM disk monitor that lets you set warning and error thresholds based on free space kilobytes and free space percentage. So let me provide you also a short demo about this part. So first we are going to the SCOM console and we're going to the ESX hosts and we pick host 4 and this one, for example. We open the Health Explorer and we go to the performance group here and we go to the RAM disk monitor. So in this case, the RAM disk monitor is healthy in this case. So let me show you how you control the thresholds by the overrides. It's just as normal. You can set the critical thresholds. You can also set the healthy thresholds based on kilobytes and percent. Both has to be true. And everything in between will be in warning state. So let us make this monitor unhealthy. So to do that, I have to log in using a shell on my machine to that 04 box. I already did this one. So let's go to the temporary file system. And let's create a big file on the file system that will definitely put this monitor, in this case, in warning state. And the last file. So let's us go back to the SCOM console. And let's watch for this monitor. So this monitor will by default only once every 7 hours. And we did it for now just because the monitor is having a little bit footprint on your ESX host to gather the information. So, but of course we can trigger this one just by pressing the recalculate health here. And now I expect this monitor to be recalculates to your. Okay, let me go back, double check. Always at live events you will get this kind of. Let's create another one. Recalculates. Okay, so the demo gods were not with me this day. So, Endly, we have the in warning state, so the monitor has become unhealthy. And if we go to the state change event, we will see here that it's changed to warning state due to 1% and also kilobyte free percentage. So, of course, there will be an alert generated in this case. So let us see where the alert is. And there we have the alert with all the necessary information to get you started. But sometimes it could be that you want more information about that host. So I also want to see the other file systems on that host. So simply press the tasks on the right side and you will get a RAM disk task. So we just select the host and you will see after executing that this one gives you a nicely overview of all your local file systems and your RAM disks here with the necessary information to do more investigations, for example. So of course, we could also clear this again just by removing the files, and I expect this one to work immediately. So Let's hover back to the monitor again. And it's already cleared. So that's case because I set the interval to 60 seconds before this one. So this will end my second demo. Let's hover over to the last demo. And the last demo will be about overcommitment capacity planning monitoring. So in many organizations, the question is often, can we add more applications to our VMware environment? So the answer is often no idea, or I think we can do it, or I hope. So to provide a better knowledge of what current capacity the VMware cluster has, we collect virtual machine disk, memory, and CPU metrics and calculate the commitment value against the cluster. So you can use this for reporting, but also for proactive monitoring, since we have integrated monitors for this that will alert you when a commitment level is breached. Sorry. So let me show you. Let me go to the SCOM console. And we go to the dashboards. And while this is loading, you will see on the left side the memory, CPU, and data store commitment monitoring. And on the right side, you will see exactly the same, but you know it's in a different display way. It's in the top 10 way. So if you look down to the cluster here, you will see number 190. So what does this number exactly say? So in this case, we calculate all the data store usage that is needed. So all the powered-on virtual machines with their disk-attached virtual disks will be taken and will be calculated against the data store that is attached. So in this case, we have 119%. So this cluster is 19% overcommitted. So this means that if all the virtual machines are taking all their virtual machine disk space, the data store attached to this cluster 01 will not be able to handle the disk needs. So we do the same for the memory and CPU. So let me go to the proactive part. Just go to the Health Explorer and we will see we have a monitor in this part that is breached, and we see that for cluster, the VSM data store, we have now 190%. And of course, we will also see the corresponding monitor in this case with all the information in here. So, and you can use this information, you know, to be proactively alerted that some overcommitment is happening in your VMware environment. So, Mark, this will end my last presentation, and I give the stick to Jonas. Thank you.
Thank you, Michel. Thank you very much. And Jonas and Vincent will be concluding our webinar.
Thank you, Mark. Hopefully you can see my screen now. So welcome to this short preview session for the Teams connector for SCOM. We are very happy that you have joined us today. And we are very excited to show what our team has been working on lately. And together here with me today is Vincent de Vries that will co-present this session with me. We also encourage you to do the Q&A options in Teams meetings for questions that we will answer after our demo, or you can reach out to us after the event if you're interested in more information. But now let's continue this session. So there is no news that the current situation have affected us all. Even after the pandemic, remote work will most likely be the new way to work. As seen in studies, 99% of remote workers would like to continue to work remotely in the future. So the remote workplace is here to stay. So Operations Manager have been around for quite a few years now. There haven't been too many changes to the existing built-in functions for distributing alerts at all. And with the adoption of DevOps, we also see more teams getting involved in the alerting process, which means more subscribers and more subscriptions. Even though we can use the command channel to make use of webhooks to send alerts to Microsoft Teams, this solution is one way and has very limited functionality. And let's talk a little bit about Microsoft Teams and why we love and use it on a daily basis. Microsoft Teams allows us to work remotely while still enabling us to be collaborative in real time. Our work is accessible anywhere, anytime, on any device. So wouldn't it be great if we could bring together the collaborative part of Microsoft Teams with the strength of Operations Manager? For example, getting notified, like showed on the screen to the bottom right. This is why we are now excited to introduce you to our Teams connector for SCOM. The Teams connector for SCOM increases your operational transparency within IT by bringing your teams closer to each other. Using Microsoft Teams as the platform, you could reach faster time to resolution on alerts using real-time collaboration and metrics. Alerts and other useful information from Operations Manager is now available on any device whenever you want it. But before we move on to the live demo, I would like to ask Vincent to talk a little bit more about how we built the solution.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, Jonas. So before I actually go into our own solution, we make use of the Microsoft Bot Framework, and we really love the Microsoft Bot Framework because of its flexibility. What can we do with the Bot Framework? Well, first of all, it integrates very well into Microsoft Teams. So, that is right up our alley, and also the way we want to integrate it with Teams works very well. But if we want to add components to it, we can add speech to it if we would like to. So you could just talk to it through your microphone and ask it questions. You can use search, so you could ask the bot search questions. You can do natural language, so you could actually have a conversation with the bot if you so wish, Q&A, or you could even do vision if you hooked up a camera. So the bot framework is actually a very flexible software and framework which we can use, and you can add or remove all the components you would like to. So this brings me more to the architecture of our connector. Basically, by using the bot framework, what we do is we actually take a management pack and start a workflow on Operations Manager, and from there it's initiated, and actually through Signal R, if you're familiar with it, it's like a chatting protocol. You chat to our application in Azure, and our application actually chats to the bot, which in turn chats back to Microsoft Teams. You as an operator or somebody else are actually behind this, and then you get an alert from SCOM in Teams, and you can interact with it by clicking on a button right now, or sending out a command in the context of that alert, and it will go right back. So it'll go back to the bot, and it'll go back to our application through Signal R onto the agent. So it's very transparent, and it sounds like it's actually a very long route, which it must take, but it does this in a surprising speed. So me and Jonas would actually like to give you a demonstration on how this works.
Let's see if we get this running.
Yeah, so let me set the scenario for you here. Basically, what we're going to have is that we're going to have an alert come in. Now, Jonas, he's going to be the operator who triages the alerts, and I'm going to be the business owner who is actually just sitting there and answering the questions when Jonas contacts me. So this is just to give you an idea of how we envisage that alert coming in would be handled by IT team.
All right, and as you can see, hopefully now on the screen, you will see a feed of the alerts being sent from SCOM through the bot framework into Teams, and you are presented with a limited amount of information from the SCOM alert. And this is to reduce the clutter that could be if we would present too much information. And by using the adaptive cards, we can actually request more information actually when clicking on these different buttons that is being presented to us. And we see here that we have an alert that the Windows service is not running, but we don't know which service it is. So we can actually click on details, and it will ask the connector and send a request to get more information about the alert in real time. So by clicking details, it will load everything, and we can see from the alert that the OpsLogic's EaseAlert API is not running. And just for the demo purposes, we have a process saying that whenever we get a critical alert in here, we should update the resolution state. and forward this one as an incident over to ServiceNow. So we have the option by clicking on Update Resolution State. We can choose, and we are presented here with the different resolution states within SCOM. So these are actual resolution states from SCOM. And we can just scroll down and we can see that we have one resolution state saying create ServiceNow incident. And click update. So what we also are going to do now is that we are going to invite Vincent, who is the service owner, because at this moment we know that this is a service, but we're not really sure if it's an important service that should be running or not. So we say that the ESAlert API service is not running. I don't know what the service does. Are you aware that it's not running, Vincent?
Yeah, this is a business critical service that triggers all incoming alerts. Someone is working on it today, so it's fine that it's not actually running.
And in usual matters, this is strange, because why wouldn't you put it into maintenance mode then?
I did ask for a maintenance window. Let me just check. But someone might have gone to activate it. Could you please set maintenance mode for it now?
So, okay, I probably know that Vincent is lying, but I will help him here, and I will adjust this maintenance until 4 o'clock to make sure that the alert is put into maintenance. So what we can do, we can respond to Vincent, we can go into the details of the alert, and we could go back into schedule maintenance. And this is the same information that you have inside of the SCOM console today. So you use the selected objects only or all the contained objects, and you get the same option here to have like planned application, maintenance. We can choose when to start the maintenance or end the maintenance, and you can choose the time as well. But one thing that is also very interesting from here is that we also see some of the other stuff that we are developing at the moment. So one special button here is the statistics, and this is something that is currently under development, but we still want to show you during this live demo because it's a very interesting part. So from here, we can actually extract live performance data from Operations Manager directly, the different performance rules that are being exposed through the entity or from the alert. So here you could actually review different counters and have that information to troubleshoot that one. So in this case, we can continue this conversation and say, okay, let's imagine that this is a CPU running high on the machine itself. So we can ask, hey, did you notice that the CPU is running high on the machine? And then we can just paste in information about the current performance counter.
Well, then my reply would be, yeah, this was a known issue, so that's why we're doing the maintenance on it. And I think the service should be up and running again, so you can close the alert.
So, of course, this is an alert generated by the monitor, so we cannot close it directly, but we just want to demonstrate what we can do as well. So I will reset the monitor just to be sure. And we can go here, we can both click on details and see that we have a button called tasks, or we can click on it directly from here. So if we click on tasks, we will get all the available tasks for that object that has been scoped for the user that the service is running for. So here you can see that we have get monitor state, reset state, start service, stop service, and trigger state. So I'm just going to get running the get monitor state just to show you the output. So we can actually see that we bring in information from the bot, and it will continue to post information into the same conversation as well. So due to the development, of course, we don't have any or have all the properties filtered out. So this concludes the preview demo of our Teams connector for SCOM. So we are going to move back, and I would like to hand over to Mark.
Thank you, Jonas. Thank you, Vincent. Again, we're very excited about this. Also, as Vincent already pointed out, the extension capabilities of that bot framework is awesome to us. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to write them in. I understand that it's not quite as easy as a meeting scenario where you have a dialogue. And again, if you prefer to just take this on a one-to-one basis, or you'd like to discuss this with any of us, then just write into our sales box and we'll schedule an appointment for you. And just to answer a quick question of Mike, a recording will be made available if you require it. So if you want it, just let us know, and we can send you a recording of the of this event. That was the only question that we got through the Q&A. So
we also had a question there about having some information about the ESX host together with Squared Up, right?
Yeah, that's right. An integration with Squared Up. Yeah, that would be, and of course we've always had a very friendly relation with Squared Up. We also have always liked what they do. So yeah, I mean that's something that we can have a look at internally, but no quick answer to that. Yeah. And then there's another question: what accounts are being used for the in terms of the connector account? Jonas or Vincent? Would you like to answer?
I can answer that. Right at this moment, what we're using is the account, which it's the run as account under which the workflow runs in SCOM. So basically, if you close an alert, then the run as account, right now it's the default run as account which we use, but you can specify an account which you would like to use.
Yeah, and I think that what Eric is also asking is, can we limit the access to the tasks that the account have permissions to? So you could create an account in Operations Manager that you can scope so the task wouldn't be exposed to that account if you're concerned about security.
Would that answer your question, Eric? I know you can't respond, but if you do have anything else to say in terms of a question, then just please do write it in. Yeah.
We will wait a little bit. We have a little bit of delay from you asking the questions and for us to see. So we'll continue to wait here. So take your time and ask any questions or reach out to us afterwards. All right, Mark. I'm not sure. I don't think that they have any questions at the moment. I think we should round out. The time has...
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And again, if anybody does want a live recording, please let us know, right? So we're not going to be, we won't send out the recordings to everybody. So again, if you do want this, then do let us know. And the same if you would like to talk about any of these features. And thank you very much. We really appreciate your time, everybody.